Welcome to Crimson Drive. It's time to start your engines.
In the beginning was Daytona.
Here we go.
The birthplace of speed, the launch pad of legends, the great American race.
Oh, they're in the wall.
It's always been,
Keep digging, stay in the gap.
and will always be, the proving ground for greatness.
Let's go, boys!
Every driver looking to be remembered. Every fan looking for something they'll never forget. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you in Tuscaloosa, as it's already been a busy week here on campus with Alabama athletics. Busy as well for our friends at NASCAR. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment. We'll go through everything coming up on the show today, thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They've given us the smart board to go through everything on the show today. I mentioned NASCAR just wrapped up the 2023 season, and it was a thrilling finish in both the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as well as the Xfinity Series, and we're going to be talking with the champions of those two series, Ben Rhodes from the Craftsman Truck Series and then Cole Custer from the Xfinity Series. We get to catch up with them about their championship seasons here in 2023. And then for the Crimson Tide football team, we hope it's going to be a championship season, and Malachi Moore and the defense helped get Alabama a step closer to a Western Division title with a great performance against LSU. He'll join us for a one-on-one conversation. And then speaking of the LSU game, we'll take a look back to all the booth cam highlights from what was a really fun night at Bryant-Denny Stadium with the victory over the Tigers. Then we'll hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nick Saban, with Coach's Checklist, and then we'll go to basketball. Courtside Cam highlights from last night as Alabama women's and men's basketball got off to a thrilling start in the 2023-2024 season. Looking at the Crimson Tide football team, again, Saturday was a really fun night at Bryant-Denny Stadium as Alabama picked up the 42-28 win against LSU, a game that was tied. Of course, at halftime at 21, we saw a dominant performance by the Tide in the second half to earn the win. So the Crimson Tide, now in the driver's seat for the SEC West, need a victory coming up on Saturday against Kentucky to try and clinch the division and punch Alabama's ticket to the SEC championship game in December in Atlanta. Crimson Tide against Kentucky Wildcats don't often get to see Kentucky, and Alabama has posted 7 straight wins against the Cats, including the most recent meeting back in 2020. Looking at Tide basketball, again, it was just so fun to get back to Coleman Coliseum last night for the women's team and the men's team. Starting with women's basketball, a dominant performance. Alabama jumped out to a 17-0 lead, eventually picked up a 93-39 win against Alabama State. Great performance by Sarah Ashley Barker, a career-high 23 points, and also transfer Jessica Timmons had a career-high 18 points as well. So a good start for Christy Curry and the women's team. The men's team also got off to a great start against Morehead State, and the Crimson Tide cruise to a win, 105-73 the final score. Everybody around Tuscaloosa right now talking about Grant Nelson, 24 points, had some dominant dunks, some deflections, some three-pointers, a little bit of everything for Grant Nelson as he made his debut in the Crimson. We're not done yet. The Crimson Tide soccer team, they were busy having a watch party yesterday for the NCAA tournament, and they have earned a 6th seed in that tournament. So another year dancing for Wes Hart and the Crimson Tide, and they get to start their run at home against Western Carolina coming up on Friday at 5 o'clock. So we certainly hope you can head to the Alabama Soccer Stadium and cheer on the Crimson Tide. Baseball team continuing its Fall World Series, and then the volleyball team, they'll be coming up at home this Friday against the Arkansas Razorbacks as well at 5 o'clock. So again, so much happening on campus, especially on Friday, as we like to call it. Sometimes a Crimson Tide eclipse. Everything's coming at once here on campus at the Capstone. For NASCAR, everything was happening at once in one great weekend in Phoenix, Arizona this past weekend, and it saw the culmination of the second Craftsman Truck Series championship for Ben Rhodes, who joins us now as we talk some NASCAR to round out the season in 2023. Congratulations on the victory. What led to this being such a special season for you and your team?
Oh, man, I would say the emotions at the end of the championship after the checker flag, it just comes from the adversity that you have to overcome throughout the whole season. It started off on day one, January 1st. I think everybody announced that we were going to switch to Ford, which entailed a lot of work making that switch. We were going back to a team that's familiar. We were part of Ford Performance in the past, but still, regardless, new bodies, new engineering, new simulation, a lot of stuff. but we wouldn't have made that switch if we didn't think it was going to be good for us in the end. So it's nice to see that there was some reward at the end of all of this. We got a few wins throughout the season. So I think everybody's very, very happy. And of course, Ford is thrilled with their sweep of the weekend.
Of course, you're thrilled to win the championship this season. You also won 2 years ago in 2021. What are some of the differences between the championship you had 2 years ago and the one you have this year?
Well, in 2021, that was my first appearance in the championship four. There was a lot of pressure, a lot of nerves, and I had raced for years and years and years and never made it into that. So I was pretty nervous. I was ready to go, but I was nervous. And then, of course, we pulled it off over the course of a long green flag run. We led over the championship four for pretty much the entirety of the race until the final restart. Two got in front of me, Todd Gilland, who was racing for the Owners' Championship, and Zane Smith. I was able to pass them both back on a long run. Well, this year in 2023, it was just chaos. It was carnage. There was wrecks everywhere. I think 29 overtime laps. It was just absolute carnage. And this go around, we weren't the fastest truck. I would say we were second fastest to Corey Heim. And this was evident at the start of the race. We qualified behind him. And then we were running third. He was second, competing for first. So we were there, but we didn't have the speed to naturally get it. And then over the course of the race, stage breaks, people are flipping the cautions. There's pit strategy involved. Suddenly we find ourselves in the back with Corey and Finger, and Corey and Oscar get into a wreck. And it opens the door for me. It's the second fastest truck to try to figure this out.
How do you keep your patience in a race like that when there are so many cautions, the overtime laps, like you mentioned, pit strategy comes into all that? How'd you keep your patience and kind of an inner calm through all that in Phoenix?
Well, I can tell you I didn't at first. So there was the first caution that preceded all of that. We were leading coming to the line, and I am off of turn 3. I see the white flag. They pull it back in and they wave the yellow. And I am almost to the start finish line. So I'm like, no, I'm yelling in the helmet. I'm like, no, we could lose it now. Luckily things worked out because it was a roller coaster of emotions. I thought for sure something was going to happen. We were going to get wrecked. And then lo and behold, as we're cycling through all these cautions, Enfinger goes into pit to get new tires. He restarts like 24th now at this point. I'm like, all right, we're good. No more cautions. He'll eventually get here if we have cautions. So no more. It keeps happening. Eventually, the truck in front of me on one of them misses a shift, blows the hood all apart. The fender's rubbing the tire. We almost have a tire go down, knocks the wheel out of my hands. So now the toes out of alignment. And it was just like everything that could go wrong at that point was going wrong, not just for ourselves, but also for the race. It wasn't a good look for the truck series at that point in time.
Well, now you've won 2 of the last 3 Craftsman Truck Series. What's made Truck Series such a good fit for you, racing trucks such a good fit? Because we've seen you before in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, but what's made this a good fit for you?
Well, I think just time, maturity, and then the people that are around me. When I went into the Xfinity Series, it was my first start. It was my first season in the National Series of NASCAR with very little experience with radial tires, very little experience with any of the national starts before that. So I kind of was into a rough situation. And then luckily Thor Sport Racing gave me a call. And in 2016, I ran full time for them. I made some mistakes. 17, we got better. I was in, the playoffs that year. I think it was 17. Yeah, we won a race that year in the playoffs. I don't know if I was in it. Then 18, we were just gradually building, and I was getting a lot of those young mistakes out of my way. And now finally in 21, I felt like was the year where we really put it all together. The championship kind of shows that, but we put it all together, and I really focused on big picture racing, just racing smart and making sure that whatever's going on with the championship picture, whatever's going on with this race in particular, we know what those goals are. And we've been acting on that. And I think that's what has gotten us through the grind of the playoffs and ultimately to this second championship.
So a championship season in 2023. What's next for you, Ben Rhodes, coming up in 2024?
Oh, man. Well, I hope to be back at Thor Sport Racing. Like I said, I've been there for a long time now. It's been like a home to me. All the folks at Thor Sport have been super supportive of everything on and off the track. Even some of my post-race shenanigans, they're really supportive of everything. So I love them for it, and I hope to be racing for them next year.
We'll look forward to that. Well, this is a show that focuses on Alabama football. The Crimson Tide are headed to your home state coming up this weekend with the Kentucky Wildcats. Are you a Kentucky fan? We know you're from Louisville originally.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint. I'm a Louisville fan. So there's no bad blood between us this weekend. We're good.
Yeah, you're very welcome to join us this weekend rooting on against Kentucky. Well, Ben Rhodes, thank you so much for your time. We're thrilled for your championship in the Craftsman Truck Series and look forward to seeing many more victories in your future. But thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and NASCAR is kicking off the 2024 regular season with the Daytona 500 coming up on February 18th, 2024. Don't miss out on the bucket list event at one of NASCAR's most iconic tracks. More than 100,000 fans will be on the edge of their seat as they watch the drivers race for the win at nearly 200 miles per hour. Bring your whole family to this once-in-a-lifetime event and get ready to experience one of the best atmospheres in sports. Purchase your tickets today at Daytona500.com. We're talking Crimson Tide coming up in a few moments, but right now we've got to talk to another champion in NASCAR this season, and that is Cole Custer in the Xfinity Series. He picks up the win in Phoenix. He is a champion after he had 3 victories all throughout the season, but he wins the points championship in the Xfinity Series, and he joins us now. Cole, congratulations on the victory. What led to this being such a special weekend for you and your team?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. I mean, for everybody at SHR, who's been a part of this deal. I mean, I just can't thank, Gene Haas, Tony Stewart, Haas Automation, everybody's a part of this deal. Ford, huge part of it, but just what a crazy year, building a new team this year with the 00 team and just the group of guys that came together that were truly just invested in trying to make our team better and better and better throughout the year. Without them, I mean, in all the hours that they worked throughout the year, we wouldn't be where we're at. So to have it all come down to that one exciting restart at the end, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, take me through that restart from your perspective. How were you able to get in front and ultimately hold on to the lead and really separate from the pack?
Well, when the caution came out, we had a good lead, and from there I was like, man, did they really can't keep it together for 5 more laps? Why'd we have to do this? But from there, you just have to try and focus on what you have at hand. And we just tried to get a good jump, but everybody else got a good jump also. So we ended up going three wide down into turn 1. But we were able to just make sure we got a good exit. And from there, it all took care of itself. I mean, we had such a fast race car, and just to have it all work out. I don't know if I could do it again with that restart. It was pretty crazy, but it was definitely something to remember.
It really was. What was the celebration like?
It was awesome. I mean, a lot of those guys haven't won a championship before. So being able to see those guys, just the excitement that they had and everything that they've worked at this year, because it wasn't easy. I mean, we had to really build something throughout the year. We didn't start off the year how we wanted to. So to really just see how much work they put into it and how much excitement they had after the race was insane.
That's really cool. Tell us more about your team. Going to go through some of the guys that are on the pit crew, crew chief, spotter. I mean, who were some of the key people that helped you make sure you got a victory and championship this season?
Well, I think when you look at, the biggest one's probably JT, our crew chief. He was a rookie crew chief this year. He's been around the sport for a long time as an engineer. But to see him get a championship was just amazing. He's such a smart guy. But anybody who meets JT, they'll probably say he's one of the best people you'll ever meet. He's just one of the kindest, just most thoughtful, just amazing person. And everybody wants to see him succeed. So just to do that with him and get him a championship was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And hats off to our whole team also. The pit crew, everybody that was a part of this deal just really worked so hard to try and make it to what it was.
And it really was a fun product to watch. Of all the races, it was really one of the best races, wouldn't you say, over the past weekend in Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race. I mean, especially with how it came down to it at the end, all 4 championship drivers lined up right next to each other, and it was all down to 2 laps, So, I mean, there's nothing more you can ask as a race fan, I feel like, other than that. 3 wide. I think it was actually 4 wide between the 4 of us at one point on the second to last lap. So, I mean, just what an awesome championship race. Like, how can you not love that?
It really was fun. What made this season special? Getting to go around all the different stops. Obviously, Chicago was a huge part of the talking points for NASCAR this season. What made this season stand out? NASCAR's 75th year.
I think just, yeah, what you're saying, there's so many different things that we're doing now, being able to go to Chicago, just run in a city, on the streets, like we've never done that before. And just going to the Clash and different things that NASCAR does with the schedule. It makes it hard on the drivers and the teams because we have to adapt to new things, but I think that's a cool part of it. It challenges you. So it's definitely cool what NASCAR is doing right now.
And then what does it say about Ford as well to have all the success we just saw in Phoenix and throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, for us, that's something we'll never forget, to be part of a Ford sweep, to sweep the entire championship weekend. So it's just a testament to what they do. We go to their Ford simulator every single week and try and dial things in. And they're just a huge part of what we do here at SHR. So they're definitely very much a part of why we won this championship. And we just can't thank them enough.
Well, you win in Phoenix over the weekend. You're doing a lot of media right now talking about this championship. Kind of what's next for you over the next few weeks?
I think we still have a few more parties probably to do, but so that'll be fun. We're not done celebrating yet. And then going to the banquet and getting everything done. But then by that time that's all over, we'll be getting ready for next year. It comes up fast. So we'll be back on it.
Yeah. What does next year look like for you?
Back in the Xfinity car, hopefully go and defend this thing. That's the plan. I think with how much speed we showed in the playoffs, I think there's a lot of stuff we can do next year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you. Cole Custer, congratulations on winning the 2023 Xfinity Series Championship in NASCAR, and keep on winning. We'll have you back here on Crimson Drive, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
In the beginning was Daytona,
Here we go.
the great American race. Every driver looking to be remembered. Every fan looking for something they'll never forget. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Huge thank you to our friends at NASCAR for the opportunity to visit with the Craftsman Truck Series champion Ben Rhodes, the Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer, and again, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll be catching up with the Cup Series champion Ryan Blaney as well. Switching gears to the Crimson Tide football team, didn't we have a lot of fun on Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium in the win against the LSU Tigers? Alabama, an impressive defensive performance, and one of the key leaders of this team is defensive back Malachi Moore, and he joins us for one of our one-on-one conversations with the Crimson Tide football player this week. Malachi, Roll Tide, what led to victory on Saturday?
Just our team playing for 60 minutes. We knew it was going to be a dogfight coming into the game, and we knew it's not going to be an easy game. LSU and Bama is always a big-time rivalry and big-time games, and a lot of great players on both sides of the ball out there making plays. And it just came down to continue to fight for 60 minutes, like we said. In the locker room, we're tied up, and our team regrouped and went out there and performed.
Talk about 60 minutes. How about the final 30 minutes? Not just against LSU, but against A&M and Ole Miss and Tennessee. What's made this such a good second half defense?
You say 30 minutes, but we just look at it like 60 minutes. Just keep playing the next play and keep chopping. And I give credit to all the preparation that we have from fourth quarter to summer to fall camp. It's instilled in us, and what we do, and finishing is something that we harp on 24/7.
Of course, you guys in the secondary working on shutting down a passing attack, but a lot of that starts up front with the defensive linemen. Just from your perspective, how well are they playing?
They're playing great. I know it's a couple games or a couple plays where the ball just snapped and we're trying to cover, and all of a sudden, bruh's already sacked, the quarterback already sacked, or they already got a fumble or something like that. So it really helps us on the back end to have those guys up there applying pressure.
Is that the best feeling?
Yeah, that's the best feeling.
How about the play of Caleb Downs as well? He continues to stand up to the challenge as a freshman.
Yeah, he comes in every week ready to practice and ready to prepare for the game, and he prepares like a veteran already, and he just got to continue to work and continue to get better.
Speaking of getting better, now how do you use this week to keep moving forward, get ready for a good Kentucky team on Saturday?
Yeah, we just got to tell our team that this is a big game. It's an SEC game on the road. Those are always tough games to go against, going to somebody else's house, and we have to be ready. We have to prepare like we prepared these last 2 weeks.
We look forward to it. Malachi Moore, thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR and the 2024 Daytona 500. It's just around the corner, and you won't want to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Bring the whole family and purchase your tickets today at Daytona500.com. Well, in the broadcast booth on Saturday, we had a great time at Bryant-Denny Stadium as the Crimson Tide defeated LSU in a thrilling matchup in Tuscaloosa. We had the Royal Furniture booth cam streaming live during the game, and in case you missed it, here are all the booth cam highlights from Saturday's win for the Crimson Tide against LSU.
It's going to be 4th and 1, and they're going to go for it. Brian Kelly says, let's go for it. But they'll go out of the shotgun. Jaden Daniels standing back at the 48-yard line. He's got a running back to his right. Low snap. Daniels rolls right and throws. Knocked away. Beautifully done by Malachi Moore, who read that play in the flat. He was heading to Brian Thomas Jr., and Malachi floated over to make a great truck work stop for the Crimson Tide defense. We've got 2:25 to go in the opening quarter. Milrose, shotgun, gets it, has protection, stands in, looks long, wide open near side. Catch is made by Alabama for another big first down. Here now, Milroe ran into his own man as he goes left in a hurry, and he carries it in for a touchdown. Here's the snap. Quarterback stands in. Quarterback runs up. Quarterback wishes he hadn't done that. He is just drilled by Justin Eboigbe, the first sack of the ball game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Christian, that was a hit and a half.
It was, Eli, and that's what we've been wanting right there. You got to collapse the pocket on a guy like this. We saw what happens when you don't have proper rush lanes and you have those openings. He's going to exploit those. But right there, Jaden Daniels didn't have anything downfield. They collapsed the pocket, and they came up with a big sack right there on third down.
Play clock at 3, 2. He claps his hands. Get the snap. Rolls left. Throws it across the middle. McClellan was left alone. He makes the grab. He'll race down the left sideline. And he's all the way to the 25-yard line.
Well, sometimes you just got to play backyard ball. Nick Saban was just about to call timeout as the play clock was getting down inside of 3 seconds. Fortunately, he did not. Jalen Milroe felt pressure, moved a little bit to his left, and for the second time tonight has hit his check down for a big first down.
With Jam Miller to the right rear, the quarterback. Miller looks his way, and Milroe throws, finds Miller. Jam down the right sideline. Jam then tackled from behind and put down at the 30-yard line. Here's Milroe, runs up the middle. He cuts to his right. He's got the first down, and he steps out of bounds at the 21-yard line. When in doubt, Jalen, keep it yourself and go. Here's Milroe on the far hash mark, steps up. He's got running room. He turns it upfield. He turns on the afterburners, and he scores! 21 yards, Jalen Milroe. That's the hat trick, his third touchdown of the night.
Heck of a job there. Another broken play there where Jalen Milroe uses his legs to break down this LSU defense. Sage Ryan was in coverage with Jason McClellan. He could not come up and take the quarterback because he had to stay into coverage. And Jalen Milroe at the last second turned on some speed I have not seen in a while and was able to outrun a linebacker for the score.
Motion. Roydell, handoff, big hole. He's in. Touchdown, Alabama. Roydell Williams found an opening, and 15 yards later, he is through for the touchdown. Bama inside the Chick-fil-A red zone. Here now, Milroe fakes the throw, pulls to his right, and his fourth touchdown of the day. A 10-yard run for Jalen Milroe, his fourth touchdown of the evening. And the Crimson Tide has now taken a lead of 34-28 with the extra point to come. Here's Daniels with a throw. It's tipped in the air, and it's going to be Alabama with the interception. Alabama with the interception. Great job by Terrion Arnold, who was the tip went to Dallas Turner, I believe, and then Terrion Arnold came through and pulled it down. So Alabama now first and goal from the 10. Handoff, big hole up the middle. McClellan breaks a tackle. He's in for the touchdown. Robbie Oots threw a wonderful block to open things up. Fourth down. LSU nothing of 1 and fourth downs today. Here's a 4th and 7. Football is at the Alabama 27-yard line. The Tide leads 42-28. Here's Nussmeier under pressure. Throws near side. Bobbled and It goes out of bounds. Malik Neighbors had it and bobbled it, and it went out of bounds. And that is going to be the turnover that gives the ball back to the Crimson Tide.
We talked about what would they look like if they played 4 quarters.
Yeah.
We got a glimpse of it tonight.
Brian Kelly trots out to midfield. He meets Nick Saban out there. 2 gentlemen who respect each other in a huge, huge manner. They continue to chat, and they'll tap each other on the back and walk away to their respective locker rooms. Alabama wins it by a final of 42-28.
Where will you be on game day? You can be part of the action with a premium reserve tailgate from Game Day Done Right. Just get your group together, pick your game and tailgate package, add on all the catering, the beverages, and other tailgating amenities, and let Game Day Done Right take it from there. Enjoy all the fun of game day with zero stress. Visit GameDayDoneRight.com to reserve your tailgate today. For your next tailgate, just add people. Game Day Done Right is the exclusive provider of reserved tailgating opportunities for the University of Alabama and offers packages for all group sizes for a single game or for the entire season. Well, the Crimson Tide happy about the win against LSU, but you know Coach Saban, he's always focused on the next challenge, and that's coming up on Saturday when Alabama heads to Lexington to take on Kentucky. Yesterday, Coach Saban met with the media. Here is Coach's checklist from Coach Saban's Monday press conference.
So, no new thoughts after watching the LSU game. There's probably the most complete game we played all year, especially the way we executed in the second half. I thought offensively, we controlled the line of scrimmage. We had great balance. Jalen played really well, obviously, being the player of the week. But I think that, this team has created an opportunity for itself, so everybody's got to make a choice on what you want to do to prepare and to continue to play at the level that we're capable of playing at and to continue to improve. And, I don't think this is a time for anybody to be complacent. I know that even Sunday morning when I got up, I was like, wow, I'm tired, but you got to go, man. You got to keep going. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep focused on what you have to do to get better and to prepare for the next game, because Kentucky is a completely different type of team than what we played against a week ago, and what we did last week is not going to have any impact on what we do this week. They're tough, they're physical, they're well coached. Coach Stoops does a really, really good job with his team in terms of the competitive character that they play with and the intangibles that they have. And they're 6-3. And they've got some really explosive players on offense. The quarterback has played really well for them. They've got great balance on offense. Their defense is tough and physical and really well coached in terms of what they do. Varian Brown is a really good returner. So they've got lots of good players, very challenging preparation for both sides of the ball. K-Law has been a significant player for us all year long, especially on special teams, and he's had some role on offense, but we did expand that role a little bit. Guy's a great competitor, a really hard worker. He's got a skill set that I think can be utilized offensively, and I think we're starting to use that. Jam has played really, really well all year long. Jace has, played a lot of football this year and a little bit banged up, so those guys have gotten more reps in practice. So obviously wanted to give him and Roydell both a little more time in the game, and both guys came through and did a really good job. No, I think that it's probably a combination of both. I think as Jalen gets more comfortable, more confident, is reading and seeing things so he can actually do a little more and do some different things. But I also think that the rest of the guys around him are getting more comfortable and executing better. So all those things contribute to us being able to do a few things that we can take advantage of. But that's different every week in terms of what kind of defense are you playing and what do they do and how can you try to take advantage of it.
Great to hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nick Saban. Again, we're excited to have Alabama and Kentucky coming up on Saturday. We will have the Royal Furniture Booth Cam live and up and running from Kroger Field. And last night, again, we mentioned it was the start of basketball season. We're going to have more basketball content coming up here in the next few weeks on Crimson Drive. But it was special, again, to get back inside Coleman Coliseum. Women's team, a dominant win against Alabama State. The men's team started the season well with over 100 points against Morehead State. And we also had the Courtside Cam up and running for that ball game. And now let's take a look back to the Courtside Cam highlights from last night of the men's game. Chris Stewart, Brian Passing, Tom Stipe on the call for a thrilling victory to start the year for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide.
Sears on the drive, the dish, right side, 3-ball up, bottom, and picking up where we left off despite some changes in the roster. Aaron Estrada, he gives it out to Nelson left of the circle. He'll direct traffic, he'll drive right, he'll get into the lane, and he'll throw it home with the right hand. Hello, welcome to Tuscaloosa, Grant Nelson. Aaron on the drive, cut off, steps back, lefty jumper, bottom. Averaged 20 a game last year, and he's red hot. Timeout, Morehead State. Looking for Estrada, instead gives it off to Pringle. Back to Sears, 3-ball is good. Alabama red, smoking hot to start. 5 of 5 from the field, including a pair of bank first 3-pointers. Bama leading it by 9. Here's Griffin driving, throws a lob. Pringle, nice catch. Got it to go off the glass, counted, and a chance for the and one. Nice feed inside. Wagee had a shot attempt block, got it back, had it stripped into the hands of Sears. His pass batted back into his hands. Driving down the lane, kicks it over onto the far wing. Reitzel gets his shot off for the baseline and knocks it home. That's a way to start your Bama career.
Going back to the exhibition games that don't matter that I keep talking about. One thing, they may not matter, but one thing got my attention. Sam Walters, freshman against TCU, one of the best defensive teams in the Big 12, had 29 in that exhibition game. He can really shoot it, the 6'9" freshman.
Estrada spinning away from trouble. Gives it back to Nelson. Dead on. 3. Bottom. Spinning. Had it stripped and stolen. Cosby with a steal. Gets it front court. Kicks it right wing. Estrada. 3. Bottom.
Fun team to watch. Getting stops on the defensive end, out in transition. And if anybody out on the court gets an open look from 3, they're letting it fly. And right now, they're all going down.
Cosby front court. Davin tried to hand it to Pringle, bounce it off his shoulder. He gives it back. Cosby, 3. Man, we're good again. Griffin behind the back with a dribble, stops in the lane, pivots, gives it off. Wagee back to Griffin. Catch and shoot. 3-ball bottom. Man, that was pretty. As Sears now has it, reverses back up top. Stevenson, catch and shoot. 3, bottom. Nelson surveying the floor, backing his way down against Thomas. Backs his way into the block. Throws it down low. Stevenson, the catch and the flush.
That's beautiful basketball. Grant Nelson.
Nelson on the drive, goes to the rack. Oh, mercy.
Oh, my goodness, Grant Nelson. I didn't think he was going to get there. Just kept rising and floating and throws it down, and this Coleman Coliseum crowd loves it.
He took off from the railroad tracks behind us and then flushed it home, and the place still buzzing. 87-64. Free throw miss. Nelson with another board for the Tide, and Grant will come the other way. He'll drive the lane. Finger roll is good, and he is fouled.
Oh,
that was beautiful.
I'm not sure that wasn't better than the dunk.
I agree. Ball poked away, stolen. Cosby. Spears ahead. Walters the finish. The tomahawk slam to make it 105-71 Bama. Can't win them all unless you win the first. The Tide does just that. Tide wins it big in the opener.
We're just getting started with basketball season. A thrilling start last night for the men's and women's basketball teams, and we've got more basketball coming up this week at Coleman Coliseum. Let's take a look at what else is coming up across the Crimson Tide Sports Network with our weekend update, brought to you by Wickles Pickles. They are wickedly delicious. We always have the relish pickle chips here with us on set. You can find so many more great products available online at wicklespickles.com. Let's see what's coming up across the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Leaving tomorrow, a lot of social media clips, not only from some of our courtside and booth cams, but also interviews with Jalen Milroe, Aaron Suttles to look forward to. And then on Thursday, we'll be back again with another edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming here again at 2 p.m. And then later that night, we'll have Hey Coach and the next Saban Show with Eli and Coach Saban at Baumhauer's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa, starting at 6:30. A new episode as well of Tide TV this week. Then on Friday, it's back-to-back games once again for women's and men's basketball. The Friday game for women's basketball against Winthrop, the men's game against Indiana State. It'll be Jim Dunaway on the call with Brian Passing for that contest, filling in for Chris as we get ready for what's coming up Saturday morning. It'll be Alabama at Kentucky, and 11 a.m. Central start. Our radio coverage will start at 8 a.m. Central, so wake up with us and get ready for some Crimson Tide football as Alabama looks to clinch the SEC Western Division title. Sunday, Coach Saban will talk about the game on his television show with Chris Stewart. We'll also have the women's basketball game against Morehead State coming up as well. And then on Monday, it'll be Alabama Crimson Tide Rewind coming up. We're going to have that coming up. No game on Monday. We have plenty of games coming up this next week, but we look forward to being back at Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Vestavia Hills. Corey Reamer and I from 6 to 7 will talk about hopefully an Alabama win against Kentucky. Shout out to the Highlighter crew. They were at Crimson Tide Rewind last night, then made it to Coleman Coliseum for the second half of the men's game. We appreciate their support of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. That and a lot more coming up. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets that are listed below for the latest on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And that's going to wrap up this very busy Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. And speaking of NASCAR again, a huge thank you to our guests that we had at the top of the show from NASCAR, Ben Rhodes and Cole Custer, two of the three champions in NASCAR this season. We really are thrilled for their accomplishments. Look forward to talking more about NASCAR in the next few weeks. Thanks as well to Malachi Moore, and then thanks to Ethan Carabin, not only for putting this show together, but producing all of the booth and courtside cams that you've seen across the Crimson Tide Sports Network in the last couple days. It's been a busy time, but a good time getting football season and a very important win. We saw that for Alabama against LSU. Basketball's underway. Just so much happening here at the Capstone, and we're thrilled that you got to spend some time with us here this afternoon on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. For everybody with CTSN and the Crimson Tide, this is Roger Hoover saying thank you again for watching. We'll see you again on Thursday. Roll Tide, everyone.